has become kind of a sore spot for a lot of people because when the sun goes down, Epcot is not all about the family fun anymore. No, it's about alcohol, it's about high-priced drinks, it's about getting sloshed in the middle of a children's theme park. Well, people are finally starting to notice, they're finally starting to push back, and we're going to talk about it today on That Park Place. Vash, this is from www.info.com. And Tim Carlson here with this article published just yesterday. Can we be honest about Epcot's World Showcase? Yes, please. I still love World Showcase. Honestly, that might be part of the problem. Most Disney fans love World Showcase. The festivals are fun. Grabbing food from different countries is one of the best experiences of Walt Disney World. And spending an evening wandering around the lagoon with friends never gets old. I agree on all those points. There is something timeless about popping in and out of the different countries, listening to live music, or having a special drinking around the world day with friends. It remains one of the most unique places in any Disney theme park. But because all those things are true, I think we sometimes ignore an uncomfortable reality. World Showcase may be one of the most beloved areas of Walt Disney World, but it is also one of the areas most in need of attention. For years, the festivals have done a tremendous job of masking some of the underlying issues. I think that's a great point.
Yes.
Yet when the festival tents come down and you look at the pavilions themselves, many have changed very little in decades, or if they have changed, it's been for the worse. For longtime Disney fans, there are entire sections of World Showcase that feel either frozen in time or semi-abandoned. And of course, perfect picture right there, the Morocco Pavilion. I mean, that has been, since Disney took over the Morocco Pavilion from the Kingdom of Morocco, it has been, they have changed so many things for the worse.
It's crazy. The declining by degrees for the Morocco Pavilion specifically, when you reference that right there, it's crazy how much that has just deteriorated.
Now, this is the most obvious example is Morocco, and honestly, it's the one that hurts the most. There was a time before COVID when the Morocco Pavilion felt like one of the most immersive places in all of Walt Disney World. Not just in Epcot or World Showcase, in the entire resort. The detailed architecture, winding alleyways, beautiful mosaics, and authentic merchandise made it feel like you had truly stepped into another country. Today, it doesn't have that energy. While many of the original details remain beautiful, the pavilion feels like it has lost some of its identity. Restaurant Marrakesh, once the signature experience, the pavilion sits as a temporary annual pass holder lounge. Some of the refreshments they have made, like new tile on the fountain of the center of the pavilion, feel like cheap Home Depot tile rather than the authentic mosaics that made the pavilion feel so real at one time. And all of this has resulted in a pavilion that no longer feels like the crown jewel it once was. You're 100% correct. But the issue extends beyond Morocco. The United Kingdom Pavilion was once set to receive a Mary Poppins attraction that would have been an exciting new update to the pavilion. Of course, that project disappeared. Germany never received the boat ride that was part of the original vision for its pavilion. Italy remains beautiful to walk through, but for repeat guests, there's very little that has changed over the years to create some sense of excitement or discovery. Canada has a similar challenge. The pavilion itself is stunning, and the updated film is certainly an improvement. I do not agree that it's an improvement. But it still lacks something that makes guests say, we have to go there. It's a gorgeous setting, but if guests are wandering back there, then Disney needs to give them a reason to. Now, before the comment section lights up, yes, there have been investments in World Showcase. France received a major expansion with Remy's Ratatouille adventure. Norway was transformed and Frozen Ever After and has continued to see improvements with upgraded cinematics. China received a refreshed film experience by the Chinese government. These projects are all welcome additions and proof that Disney can still deliver meaningful updates when it chooses to. The problem is that those successes highlight how little attention some of the other pavilions received. A handful of countries have carried most of the momentum, while others have remained largely unchanged for generations of guests. Some have not seen a truly impactful addition since the day the park opened. There's often a lot of speculation about Epcot adding a new country like Australia or Greece, and while those would be awesome pavilions, I hope they start by just making the countries that are already there better first. World Showcase should be a place that evolves, should continue finding new ways to celebrate culture, tell stories, and give guests reasons to explore. Instead, too many pavilions feel like they're surviving on nostalgia and festival traffic rather than offering compelling experiences on their own. More than anything, though, I hope Disney finds a way to bring Morocco back to life. At its best, the Morocco Pavilion represented everything World Showcase was supposed to be. It was immersive, authentic, beautiful, and endlessly explorable. If Disney can restore that spirit, it would not just improve one pavilion, it would send a message that World Showcase is once again a priority. I agree with a lot of this, Vash. I really do.
Yeah. And it's crazy to think, because this park just received probably near around $1 billion worth of investment with Guardians of the Galaxy, with the changes to obviously the entrance to Epcot itself right there, to Harmonious, Luminous, all of these investments made for this specific park right here, and the back half is unbelievably underwhelming, and in some cases has eroded since it's once great high. Like for example, that Morocco example that you actually pointed out right there, the Home Depot tiles, so true. Remember, Marvin, the Imagineers actually went to the Morocco pavilion to be specifically inspired for Galaxy's Edge. That's how kind of transcending that was right there, how kind of otherworldly it was. And yet we just simply haven't seen that level of investment. If we look at like the France pavilion or Norway pavilion, people might, argue, do characters necessarily fit in these different places, but it has given those pavilions new life. And I think that's what is being illustrated here. We just haven't seen that carried out throughout the entire World Showcase.
So in the in the France pavilion, I don't actually find that Ratatouille bothers the overall feel of the pavilion that much. The area is in the back. The attraction is tucked into the back. They've added a crepe shop, which is very, very French. And the architecture all seems very, French inspired. And, the thing about Ratatouille is it's a movie that takes place in France. Meanwhile, you go over to the Norway pavilion, and it's just half of that pavilion now is Arendelle.
Yeah, which is
you've got a restaurant that's more about the princesses than about Norwegian cuisine. You've got a bakery, you got a gift shop, and you've got the little church that has all of the Norse mythology stuff inside of it.
Right, which is
then
really
you
good.
have. The attraction is Frozen, which does not take place in Norway. It takes place in Arendelle, which is inspired by Norway. And then right next door to it, you've got the Anna and Elsa meet and greet and a Frozen store, and all that area is just Arendelle. Like, I remember when that first opened up, I remember walking into that store, and I remember one of the cast members goes, "Hey, welcome to Arendelle." I said, "I thought I was in Norway." Like...
Wow, they really want that to be Arendelle, don't they? Oh my goodness gracious. It's really disappointing to hear, because obviously, with Maelstrom and all of that, I think that the pavilion was far more cohesive under that structure, but obviously with this necessity to put IP into every single crack and crevice, well, there you go.
Well,
and speaking on, okay, please.
They're saying that we can't we have to upgrade them. That does not mean put IP in it.
Right. Ideally, yes.
Yeah. Go ahead. Continue.
Ideally. No, and on that point, there was, not just the Mary Poppins thing for the UK, which would have been, I think Ken Reinhardt is pretty spot on about that.
Yeah.
Didn't look maybe the most ambitious thing, but there was talk of putting Coco into the Grand Fiesta Tour. Back in the day, and we do believe amongst kind of Disney enthusiasts there that the plans for Disney California Adventures version of Coco might have been actually lifted from those plans to put it in Epcot originally right there. So there have been ideas and concepts, worked out for some of these pavilions, but never anything that had the trigger pulled on them, which is very, very interesting, Marvin. Why do you think it is that Disney necessarily hasn't invested in these specific pavilions? Is it to work out with the countries, or what do you think is going on here?
I can tell you exactly why. Because they don't have to. Because the people that are flooding into World Showcase and spending money don't care. They only want the drinks. Because when you're drunk, it doesn't look that bad. So they've got, they like, some things do change. You go, well, the Mitsukoshi department runs obviously a lot of the Japan pavilion, or the Mitsukoshi company. And so you go into the Mitsukoshi department store, it changes all the time.
That's
new
true.
Merchandise, new displays, new experiences, new food. And that's great, but that's because it's an outside company doing it. Which, the thing is, I don't think they see World Showcase as a celebration of the world anymore. I think they see it as a celebration of how much we can charge people for overpriced drinks.
Do you think we've seen a demographic shift in World Showcase, in which previously you had tourists? Well, yeah. It's kind of like, as these festivals have become far more important or prioritized by the company. It's kind of like, okay, well, this is just the area for, pass holders who are less concerned about the actual lands themselves and more concerned about what's on offer in terms of food and drink. Is that maybe what's going on here?
I absolutely agree with that. We used to have one festival of a year, right? And it was the International Food and Wine Festival. It was a big draw in the fall months where things were a little lighter for Disney. And then suddenly it was like, hey, let's have a festival every month. Let's always have a festival. There's maybe like a 3-week period now in Walt Disney World where like there's no festival. And that's it. The festivals are the article hit the nail on the head. The festivals are masking the issues with World Showcase because they are offering new things. Sometimes they're offering new things. They offer rotating things because a lot of times the festivals are the same thing over and over again. I believe one of the festivals this year, actually Flower and Garden had a lot of new stuff this year, which I was very happy to see. But like Food and Wine, it's the same stuff every year pretty much.
Right.
So yeah, no, I think you hit the nail on the head there too. It's fine to have the characters in there too, but when you start injecting too much IP into them, it stops being about the country anymore. Like, I don't think kids are going into Showcase the way I went into World Showcase as a kid, with a desire to learn about the various countries. Like, I can't tell you the last time I saw a kid asking the World Showcase cast members questions, which is what I did when I was a kid. I always wanted to find out, like, oh, well, like, what do you guys do in your country for Christmas? Or, it's a wealth of knowledge right there. That's why the cast members are representatives of those countries, because they wanted to make it an authentic experience originally. And now I think it's just like, hey, we can get really cheap labor from overseas.
Right. And cheap labor from overseas combined with the Disney College program, probably.
I always feel so bad for the ones in the Germany pavilion, because I'm like, man, like you're like a 2026 college kid, and you're coming all the way over here to work in a fast food restaurant wearing lederhosen.
That's a good point. It's a good point right there. There have been talks about a Brazil pavilion featuring a Disney concept that may have been in production at one point, kind of a Jack and the Beanstalk, take on that fairy tale, which was very interesting right there. We've heard
the movie, right?
Yes, yeah, that.
But that was Spain.
Was it Spain? Yeah,
it was Spain.
Probably. Okay.
But I've heard about a Spain pavilion too. I've heard Spain. I've heard Brazil. I've heard Africa. I've heard Greece. I've heard so many different things. Right.
Yeah, and it has never come to fruition. And I suppose part of that is getting the countries on board, right? In order to sponsor those pavilions, or maybe a company within those countries to give it that authenticity that maybe the Imagineers intended back in the 1980s. It's really sad to see that, the deterioration of a lot of World Showcase, not even just like the maintenance of it, right? And things feeling stale, but actually deteriorating because of the lack of investment here. Really, really is sad to see.
Yep. Oh, interesting. Okay. I might have to, okay. I just saw something that I think we need to highlight. But okay. Yeah, no, I am 100% with you. I think that, it's easier to add a new booth at a festival than it is to add a new, pavilion. That's a permanent structure. So like you'll see, they'll have a Korea booth one year. They'll have a Spain booth, a Greece booth, an India booth. And you're able to kind of sample the stuff from that country without actually having to build out, a full pavilion. But I think that it's really more about the drinking now. It's more about and to the point now where like when you go after dark, it does not become a safe place for kids.
Yeah, that's very true.
The drunker people get, the less safe it gets. And I'm not saying like, unsafe in like, safety, like a physical safety kind of way. But I'm saying like, you're going to hear people screaming obscenities. You're going to have to explain to your kids why that grown woman in the mini ears over there is crying hysterically and sitting in the middle of the street. You're going to have to explain to your kids why that guy over there is puking into the bushes. All things I've seen, by the way. All things I've seen in World Showcase After Dark.
It's really, really sad. I was thinking more about the pavilions that they maybe have conceived or conceptualized, right? It's kind of like, okay, well, if they were going to spend, somebody, whether it be the country, Disney, or maybe a combination of both, were to spend money on investing a pavilion into World Showcase, would it necessarily get the traction, right, that say maybe a new attraction would? Or maybe that's why they've been focused on new attractions for the existing pavilions. Half-heartedly, I'm guessing, and new attractions around Walt Disney World in order to get the best bang for the buck. But it is kind of sad to see this very corporatized entity not invest into something so grand, so ambitious as the original Epcot right there, and taking the path of least resistance with IP inclusion, with drinks, with festivals every single month of the year. Just man, it's just so far from 1982 Epcot, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, guys. World Showcase is a problem right now. At least, from those of us who remember what it was supposed to be and what it used to be. But in Disney's mind, I don't think it's a problem at all. I think they just see it for what it has become. A very big, very expensive, sprawling bar.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.